let's shift a bit and go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Kathleen Muir. I'm sure, Mama, is she there? Okay. Okay. Hey, Kathleen. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and see you very well.
Super, awesome.
Great. Okay. So guys, before I start talking to Kathleen and she sprinkles all her wisdom to us, let me give you a bit of a background about Kathleen. Kathleen is a person whom I met on LinkedIn. And if you follow her on LinkedIn, she gives great advices. I mean, you guys should just go and follow her.
Thank you.
I think every week she just shares all the wealth of information what she has accumulated all these years, and it's presented in a very, very nice fashion. So, okay, let's come back. So,
awesome.
Kathleen, she is the CEO and founder of the Muir Network. And, you know, in today's world where people are overwhelmed with data, images, content, and what truly engages them is something timeless, which is story. And these days, the story has taken many platforms, but it's all about conveying an idea to get people to react. So reaction is important, engagement is important. And in business, that's about getting consensus and agreement, basically getting to a yes. Kathleen helps actually investment managers enjoy the benefits of seasoned experience in creating high quality materials that help them tell their story, engage key stakeholders, and achieve their goals. She's got an expertise in brand messaging, pitch book creation and makeover, website refresh, corporate visual identity, presentation, and fact sheet templates. So this is her expertise. And today, Kathleen is going to help us understand what is the complex website wireframing.
And it's not that complex. Okay, so this is a very small website I actually did for a friend. It's nothing to do with investment managing. It's to do with sport. But it really helps. I have done this for investment managers in bigger outfits, but the principles are the same. So let me share my screen.
Sure.
And let me see. So it's interesting. Okay. It's not showing me my actual desktop, but as long as you can see this, can you?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So website wireframing. Very simply put, when you are trying to create a website, very often people will actually open up Squarespace or whichever tool and they'll start typing away. This is one such example. And the key for saving time and money is when you're designing a website, it is not only the colors, but it is the content. And once you know what the content is, it will help you create the tabs. Okay. So I always propose, always start with a Word document, start with a word processing document. So simply put, for a friend of mine, she is a professional basketball player in the States where we both hung out. Mm-hmm. And she asked for some help. So she started a Squarespace. She got as far as creating this homepage, no content as such, no body copy. She then on the homepage had a little video, again, no body copy. She had a news tab, again, no body copy. But what she did have down in the bottom, she had these really cool photos because she's played generally around the world. She had these very cool pictures of her and her various teams. Right now she's playing in Spain. Mm-hmm. And underneath each of those 3 photos, you would see a dream it, build it, grow it. That was it. Okay. So all I did, and this is what I was showing Sarah, is I took these screenshots. So that was the original website. And what I essentially said to Vanessa was, before we go any further, write down in a Word document what you're all about, like why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. Just free flow, write anything, because once I get a sense of your tone of voice, then I'll know how we should write what we want to write. So I asked her very simply, write about what you're doing, how it started, and write down your services. And so she did. So I'm going to show you before we go into a bit more design. I will just briefly show you the first document. So this is what Vanessa originally gave me. You don't need to consume it all. Just for you to see, she had something about, and this is for any client. It's really important, although they use marketing or people to help generate their content, they own it. You know, it's their ownership. Because that also...
Sorry, Kathleen, sorry. I think, are you showing another screen?
Right. So for whatever reason, when I was sharing,
okay,
it did not show me when you patched me in. Ordinarily, I would see a desktop icon.
Okay.
So if I go, all I can see is whiteboard. I mean, I can keep sharing, but somehow my desktop is gone. I have to go in at an application level only.
Oh, okay.
I'm only getting whiteboard as an option, and I suspect that's not what you want. So thank you for saying. Now I know. Okay. I can go into each. It'll just be a little bit disjointed.
Okay.
You can see this now?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So simply put, Vanessa wrote down why she started her business, Athlete for Athletes. She wrote down her services. So you will see there's some words about agent consulting, about financial advisor. They can help because players play overseas. And so when they're away from home, like any business, they need help. Also being athletes, nutrition and fitness was important. And then training when they're not actually in session, they need to have summer training. And she did write down some objectives, key objectives of her business, helping to do this, help. So I felt I had enough to work with. So what I did is, and I think if I can, this is where it gets tricky. Yeah, good. Now you will see this. Am I right? Yeah. Can you see colors?
No, we can just see your Word document.
Oh, the original one. This is not good. Okay. Now let me go to the second one. I tell you what, I'll close this one down.
Sure. Okay.
And hopefully we can still see. You still can't, because it's asking me to, let me stop sharing and start again. Okay. No, desktop is definitely gone. All right. So now you will see color coding. Again, you don't need to remember it, but it's a very good tip. When you write in Word, do a traffic light system, red, amber, green. And the green content, I wanted to keep word for word, just about. And then I thought, well, based on what she's saying, this is helping me now to know which sections need to go where. The yellow is that I still like it, but not word for word. And the kind of blank one, if you will, is I don't need that. Okay. All right. So even just simply, I'm going to now try and stop sharing, go back to the website. Okay. And so if we go to the mock-up, so that hopefully sets the scene a little bit. Okay. Right. You can see the presentation. Yeah. Yes. All right. So all I did was I went and I took this, and this is a tip for anybody. We can talk about how to get a color palette. In Vanessa's case, as you saw, there were some colors. So I simply created some swatches. This is a simple PowerPoint page. I gave it a black background. I made some squares, and I simply, and this is a tip if you all are not aware of it, you just use what's called the eyedropper, which is this little guy here. Okay. And you just click on it. And then I simply took, so for Pass the Torch, I took that color and it gave me the hex colors. So essentially I worked through, well, athlete for athlete is white. There was the number 4. There was let us guide you, and there was pass the torch. So once I applied, or rather wrote down the hex values for each, these are the primary colors for Vanessa's website. So the let us guide you, that was that color. The picture frame, when we saw 3 picture frames on one of the previous pages, pass the torch, English was here, background black is black, and the number 4 in the logo. So that gave me enough to know that I actually ended up using this color, and this color, along with white and black. And so the next thing, knowing that, and this is all you do in PowerPoint, you simply make some text boxes.
Okay.
In my case, I felt that Vanessa needed, for her about section, a lot of websites say about, so why can't we call it something different? Why must it be about us, about me? I felt like this was more, why we do it is more of a partisan kind of question. It's not one directional, I'm telling you about us and maybe you'll like us. The word we is in there. So I like this.
It's like a partnership, basically.
Yeah.
Just saying, okay, just listen. It's like a two-way street, not a one direction.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So why we do it, I liked that. I thought her about section can go in there. Do what? Well, that was the services, but I didn't want to write services. And I think it's really important, if you think of what Simon Sinek, if you don't already know of him, right? Yeah. So he has his 3 circles of why, how, and what, not the other way around. It's not what I do, how I do it, and why. It's the ethos of you first. So I like this why, what as a style of English. Do what was her services. And I knew, and we can go back to the Word document, that there was content relating to her consulting. We can help you do this, help you do this, help you do that. The professional training was about the summer camps, and financial advice about you being far away. I also wanted instead of contact us, as you can see, we didn't call it that. I having worked with Vanessa and talking to her, join the team again was this partisan thing, and the shop was her gear. So for me, actually, to look at her English took just under 2 hours to color code it and bring it into this mock-up, which you're about to see. And once I was happy, I texted Vanessa. She was in Spain. We got on a call an hour later, and we worked through the content. So the key for this, I'll try not go back to the Word document because of technical difficulties. Long and short, get your client to write as much down as they can. And then it's up to you to craft the messaging to create a flow, which should give you titles for the structure of your website. And most websites are the same. So it's not like you have to start with a blank canvas and you don't know what to. Every website has about, contact us, home. It's, it's quite a good structure already.
Yes, yes.
But the key was to bring over what the client had written. And then the second stage was her and I meeting that afternoon and talking together to add more content that was collaborative, so I could get like more out of her. So we then had a tour conversation, and this is what I'm about to show you now. And this is where it really is important. Let the client be free to write what they believe in, but then have dialogue with them. When a client is so used to telling their story themselves, to themselves, no one's asking questions. But when you have a dialogue, you by definition bring in a different perspective. So when you bring in a different perspective, they answer things in a different way. And therefore, and there's still a richness there. So we basically worked together on this very document for 2 hours. So we had on the home page, and this is a little tip again from a technical standpoint, you would simply gray out the tabs that you are not wanting to discuss right now. Mm-hmm. So we kept what you may have seen on the beginning, let us guide you. We did give a summary paragraph. That was one of the green coded sentences, knowing the off-season training, nutrition planning, financial tracking, where we're going to come on to that in other pages. So it was fine to put them as line items, if you will, within this paragraph. And then a mission statement, which is really core to this particular client, a total commitment to, sports people coming on board. Then this is the meatiest section, why we do it. So I grayed out home. I now brought in, and this is actually the color from Pass the Torch. So it's more muted. The headings on purpose are a darker color. And then the brighter orange comes in the what I call the live area. Okay. So here we did use this wording from Vanessa, but this is where we had a good conversation where I wanted Vanessa to kind of write why she believes in what she believes in. And it comes from a particular story where after a year of being a pro, she was told maybe she, should get a regular job. And so she had to make a choice. So this was a conversation where someone is talking to you over the phone, but then you need to craft that dialogue into a piece of body copy that resonates, that's still reflective of her, but that is more well written rather than quotidian English when we talk. So this was why we do it. This was the most detailed. And then we still kept her do what. So now we get into the services, and we showed the images first with her copy that she still kept. We read it over, and I was still happy that it still fitted with what she was trying to do. And then on the do what, if you recall, we had consulting, professional training, financial advice. So we did the same thing. On my website, on my wireframe PowerPoint page, clearly I can't scroll down like you can on a website, but this is a mock-up. So that's why it's important. There was a continuation slide. So on the consulting, where we saw help to do this, help to do that, I basically changed the English and highlighted subtly with verbs. So it was dealing with agent selection, signing contracts, helping with the serving. And I think it's important with message and storytelling. It's what poets say as well. Poetry is as close to songwriting because there's a rhythm to it. And so by you saying things out loud, you can tell whether something is clunky or it has a flow or a rhythm to it. That's just the songwriter in me. I can't help it. But that's why it's important. English really matters. And then we finished with, still on the do what, professional training. I highlighted with accent colors, the summer workouts, the winter workouts, the summer showcases, a little bit about financial advice, and then the contact us page. So I'm going to stop there. That was 20 minutes. That's it in essence. I mean, there's a couple of things really to mention. So I'm going to stop sharing and go to websites. Okay. So let me stop sharing. Let's see if this works. And we'll go to websites. Right. You should see a whole series of things. Firstly, you'll see a very colorful slide. Yeah. So a key thing, Vanessa's example is of someone who already knew their colors. But if you want to create a website and you don't know, there's various things you can do. The first thing to bear in mind is colors have a purpose. And this is a slide you can find anywhere. It's called Brand Emotion. But you'll resonate with this. As soon as you see some of these brands, you'll get it. You know, green is about peaceful and growth and health. And blue is dependable strength and trust, etc. So it's important when you start figuring out what you want that you have a sense. Now, I've written something that may be of use. It's on the Muir Network's website, the meaning of color. So this chart will help anybody understand if they're wanting to start with a color or a feeling, this is one route they can go down. Another route they can go down is what I call nature's palette. And that is, let me just hide this floating control. So if you see this is just an example of, we have colors on our doorstep. These happen to be my photographs because I do photography. But look at these beautiful colors. So when people worry about if things are going to complement or not, nature's own palette is beautiful. Okay, so that's another way you can get colors, by taking photos. If you have Adobe Capture on your Android or iOS phone, you take a photo and it will show the swatches automatically, which you can download. Another way.
Sorry.
Yes.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, for example, let's say, so this photograph, you have taken it from the website, I mean, Google, and then how did you get these colors, the different?
No, I took this in the north of Scotland. All of these photos I have taken.
Okay.
Right, I have taken these, and with this particular app, as you're taking a photo, there's little dots that fly around, and they're hunting for contrasting color. And so these were the colors that came out.
Okay.
Now, another way you can do it, which is a really good point, if you don't have an app, then you can do something like this. So this is a website called Color Palette Demo, right? I can try and put a link in the chat or afterwards. And all this does is, if you look, I've already uploaded it for the purposes of this demonstration. I've uploaded a photo, okay, or a screenshot of a website that you like, where you love the colors. So all you do is you upload an image, and then it will show you the hex colors. Okay, and then the last thing is, so let's just say I liked this color, Vanessa's picture frame, right? I've already prepared this for this demo, where you can go to what's called color.adobe.com. And so you type in the middle the hex value. And in this case, look at the left navigation bar. It will show you, all right, Kathleen, I've got this color. In the normal color wheel, which is what I showed you on my website, we're going to take all the colors close to each other. And these are they to the left and to the right. Or watch what I do when I click on monochromatic. And now you will see there's only 2 circles, and look at the color palette change. One of the most popular for websites is Triad. So look how we've now got literally a 3-way on the color wheel, producing therefore these colors, which you can then vary afterwards. So it helps you, like this for me is a perfect, not perfect, but this would be a good color palette for investment banking, because it's got blue and it's got some subtle colors. So I already think in the financial world that this would work. So that's one of the other ways. And then the last thing, as I say, I showed you that. And so there are ways to get color schemes. The other thing I was going to say is, if we go here, what you can see is in my browser, and you can get them for free, they're called eyedroppers. So you simply click on your...
Sorry, go ahead, please.
Yeah, you click on, they're all free. There's so many of them out there, but it allows you to take, if I go to this red, it's going to be right in the middle of the black lines. I take a picture, and then there's the hex color. So there's all sorts of ways in which you can find colors that you love. Then I suspect, so the colors are probably the hardest thing for a website, but very simply, and even with complex websites, if you start from a Word document, I did like a kind of free consultation a few weeks ago, and speaking to a copywriter, I guess you guys are used to writing in Word. So you know that you have heading 1s, heading 2s, heading 3s, normal text. You can design your website from that. And the beauty of a Word document is it will allow you to hand it around the team within your company or with your client. A final point I would say on why PowerPoint and why not, there are other providers out there like Lucidchart and Miro or Miro.com. But in my mind, there's two disadvantages. One, they cost something. Two, you may get a website wireframe, but you have to learn yet another tool. Three, PowerPoint, Word, and Excel are on just about every machine where business is involved. And the fourth point is that keeping PowerPoint is a tool within marketing and sales. Lucidchart or Miro, I would say probably would be within the IT sphere. I think if we're owners of content, then it should stay within the marketing team. And so by using PowerPoint, it allows the marketers to work with the content owners on the English. So from a process management perspective, it's much more logical and much more simple.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before you leave, there are two questions that we need to ask you. One is by E.G. Oren, is in the do what? How do you decide what service is listed first?
Do what? So in this case, we on purpose decided on, if you can see, you can see, if you dream it, build it, grow it. So this was the original content. We definitely decided on that first because this is literally about basketball. So this was the copy that would attract people more quickly because that's all what they want to do. But giving them the content that they want to read allows us to then be responsible and say, but it isn't enough to play basketball. That's the good stuff. What you have to do is work at it, and we're going to help you. So we gave them body copy that related to what they do, more aspirational. But it was also for us to show that we believe in their aspirations as well, like talking to them, with them rather. But then we wanted to be professional and then write about, especially, this is the most important thing to your colleague's question. There in the basketball world, in any case, there is an agent-player relationship that is really important. It's important, but there's so many aspects to it. So this, we just decided to talk about consulting because that is the job of Athlete for Athletes. It's to bring on board professional players, but introduce them to teams. And so it's like priming them to have skills that we can help them with signing contracts and with dealing with mental health. So the most important services were at the top. After the copy relating to basketball. The professional training, we decided to do that afterwards. And then no one likes to talk about finance, but you have to. So this was a fact showing that, women's basketball doesn't get paid as much. We can help make this happen. We'll give you the best advice and the best advisors, because you have to be a smart business person as well and think your career may only last like 5 years or so.
Yes, very true. There is one, Elise Hope has mentioned, I never thought of doing a PowerPoint presentation. So much easier to make client.
I
know. So much easier to make client requested edits before creating the actual website.
Yes.
Amazing time saver. I'm a website designer, and as a side hustle, this is going to save me so much time to allow for edits and
Yeah.
allow to add
And I
creativity.
can actually prove that because this is one of the quickest websites we've done. You can go to it now, Athlete for Athletes, or actually we're on it. I did 2 hours to look at the copy and decide on the website wireframe.
Yes.
I spoke with Vanessa an hour later for 2 hours. So that took us from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then my guys in Guatemala. So my website guys I've used them for 7 or 8 years as a musician as well. And we talked with them on a web call. A very strong point for the lady who was just talking about website wireframes. Every call you should have with clients, in my opinion, should be Zoom with transcripts. Always, always, always with transcripts. So we met with our guys or my guys at 5 p.m. It was a 22-minute call.
Okay.
That was it. And then we met a week later, so we gave them 7 days. And I must add, the beauty of this to the person who just asked the question is, not only is this a website wireframe, but it is a proof of evidence that when the web designer comes back, what we gave them should be emulated on the website. So it actually reduces errors. Like we did get a version back of the website, but within 5 minutes, I saw some typos, pushed it back and said, I think you need to do another check. So it didn't waste the client's time. The guys did come back a day or two later and we signed it off. So it's wonderful as I say, it's what I call passing the baton. You've handed over your content, you expect the same back, simply in website form.
Yes, great. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for your time. Thank you so much for taking us through in detail about the website.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure everyone has enjoyed it. And thank you so much. And inshallah, we'll be in touch. Oh, before leaving, about your the free gift. So
yes.
Just tell us.
All right. So anyone who's interested, let me go. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So I do many things. Website wireframe is probably about that amount of what I do. Okay. So if anyone would like a 30-minute free consultation to talk about, it can be messaging, it could be website wireframes, it can be color palettes, it can be working in Microsoft 365. By all means, it could be data, storytelling, line charts. I mean, it's all sorts. So you have 30 minutes of my time and it will be recorded if you wish it to keep the audio and the transcript.
Great, thank you. I think, yeah, that's going to be really awesome if anyone wants to.
It's easier to talk to people than type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so we'll move to the next speaker.